Yeah, so we're going to figure out if the closing price of a bar here is, if it's below, right, the previous bar's close. Yeah, I'm going to pick on this bar here. So based on the ATR, yeah, we want to know that this bar close inside of half an ATR off of the closing price here. So, all right, so let's pull up a comparison solver. And let's see here. All right, so input A is going to be the closing price. Actually, the closing price of both bars there. All right, so we're going to set the type to price, and for both input A and input B. Set them both to price. And let's see here. So input A is going to be, right, the current bar's closing price. Input B will be, right, the previous bar's closing price. Yeah, there we're going to add a half an ATR to. All right, so that means we're going to set the look back period to 2. Right. So there we go. And now we can go into the comparison rules here. Right. So right now we can see, right, the default settings for the comparison rule is if the closing price, right, is below the previous bar's close, then we're going to get a short. But if the closing price is above the previous bar's closing price, right, we're going to get a long here. So what we need to do is just add in that half an ATR there. All right. So here we can see we have points, and we're going to switch this to ATRs on both of these, like so. Right. And oh yeah, all right, this will work here. And since we're using an ATR, if you want to change the ATR period, that's what the little gear icon is, the little settings icon. You can open this up, and there you go. So there's your ATR period right there. Right. And so now, basically, this value that you're putting in is a multiplier, right? So if we put in 0.5, then we have half an ATR. All right. Put in 0.5 and 0.5, and then hit apply. So yeah, there we go. So obviously, yeah, this bar is definitely going to be above the half an ATR there. Yeah, like so. Yeah, so we have a bunch of bars here. Yeah, prices consolidating here. So none of these bars, yeah, closed outside of their previous bars, you know, half an ATR. And let's see, yeah, here we go. Yeah. So, again, kind of getting back to Lawrence's previous questions here, right? BloodHound, you know, doesn't calculate percentage ranges of other indicators, right? It's the job of those indicators to calculate those percentage ranges, but only because Lawrence included an ATR, and the comparison solver here does have an ATR measurement unit here, then we can you can, if you're applying a percentage, right, then you can just put that percentage in there. So yeah, so I'm just kind of thinking to myself, going back to Lawrence's previous question there. Yeah, you know, so Lawrence, if your question was modified to use half an ATR instead of the 50%, possibly we could answer your question. Yeah. So, all right, yeah, let me kind of play around here and show what we can do with the original question of creating buy or sell signals based on the swing high or low indicator here. And we can apply a half an ATR to that to create that range there. So let's, we close that out. And, well, actually, I'll just modify this, this solver here. So, all right, yeah, so I'm going to take input B, and I'm going to put this back to a indicator value, like so. And then for the indicator here, open that up, and let's go and use the swing highs and lows indicator here. And I'm going to set the number of swings, I think, down to 3. I think 3 is what we want here. And then for the plots here, let's see. Yeah, I think this is going to require 2 comparison solvers here. Right? So for this first one here, I'm going to use the swing high. So the YS tops is essentially the swing high. Like so. All right, and before I get going too far, let me put the swing indicator on the chart. But also, let's just kind of go back to a 1-minute standard chart here. All right, so let's add the swing indicator to the chart. Again, knock the number of swings down to 3. Well, actually, no. Okay. I'm going to knock it down to 2. So I have faster responding swing points. Yeah, there we go. So now these, swing lines here are responding a little quicker there. All right. Let's see. All right. So input B here, right? We set it to the swing highs and lows indicator. And I'm using the swing highs here. And let's see. And I'm going to keep this half an ATR there. So let's name this here. Yeah. All right. And so right now, what we're seeing here is if the closing price is greater than the swing high plus half an ATR, right? So we're getting a long output when the closing price is outside the range, right? So we need to modify this so that we get, we get an output when the closing price is inside that range. Yeah, so I'm going to turn these off, and let's see. Oh, actually, let's add a ranged, we'll add a ranged rule here. Set this to ATRs. And put in, let's see, 0.5. And what's this? Negative 0.5. Ah, there we have it. Let's see. Actually, I don't think we need the fixed one here. Yeah, the ranged one ought to do it. Let's kind of scan through here. All right, yeah, there we go. So, right, the closing price is just below the swing high, right, and it's inside half an ATR there, right, and that close is above the swing high, but also inside that half an ATR range there. So, Yeah, so this is specifically for the swing high, right? So we have a range above and a range below. So that's the reason why we need two comparison solvers, is because we have a range, right, an ATR range above and an ATR range below. So yeah, so we'll need another comparison solver here. So let's make a copy and paste that down in there. This time we'll analyze the swing low plot like so. And I'll have to rename these to something a little better here. Yeah, but let's go in. So for our copy here, let's go into input B, and we need to select the swing low plot here. So there we go. All right, and like so. Oh, no wonder. Let's see. Let's change the number of swings to 2 to match what I did on the chart there. So that might be the reason why this other one was not picking up all the places here that I kind of expected to see. All right. Yeah, I thought we'd see more long and short signals there from our first one there, and it was probably because the number of swings wasn't adjusted down to 2. So anyways, let's take a look at that. Yeah, so there's a close. Yeah, just above the swing low. Here we go. All right. Yeah, so there's a close. Actually, let me widen this out here a little bit. There we go. Yeah, so here's a close, right, just below the swing low, and a bunch of closes just above it. So now we can go to the logic nodes, grab an OR node, and connect both of these into an OR node. And there we have it. Now we have both together. Yeah. So there you go. There's a signal off of the swing high and a signal off of the swing low, like so. There. All right. Yes, we're finding when the close is, above or below, right, the swing high or low, half an ATR range.